Hi, this is Pete Buchanan, founder and director of instruction for Plain Simple Golf. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is answering one of the most asked questions I get about what I do and why I teach the way that I teach. So that question is, why do I teach the way I do? Well, it's very simple, and we call it Plain Simple Golf for a reason. I took about 10 years studying vast hours of video to try to simplify the game for the masses. You know, the masses struggle at it. You know, you go out on a Saturday and you shoot a nice score, and if that nice score for you is an 82, and then you go out on Sunday and you shoot 100, and you're trying to figure out, oh, where's that inconsistency? Or I've been given lessons over my lifetime from professionals or coaches or some friends of mine, my playing partners, and I've got a mass amount of information that's in my head, but I can't seem to get it under control. I can't seem to make it work. So we decided to simplify it down. But in order to do that, we had to look at the golf swing and figure out what's the one main piece for the masses that keeps them from being able to perform their best, get the club face square, hit straight shots, solid shots, lower their scores, control that golf ball, and especially have a lot more fun. And this is what we found. Let me get a club for you. When I was a kid growing up, the one main ingredient that was always given to me in the backswing was when you set up, there's an angle formed between the forward arm, I'll say the front arm here, lead arm, and the shaft. For me, it's my left arm. I set up with that angle at address, and I've got to return to that in order to get this ball struck properly. So I've got this angle set, and I've got to return toward it. So now, when I'm looking at this, the one thing I was taught quite often was in the backswing, I had to create and take that angle and create a hinge and increase that angle in the backswing and make it as much as I could, and then even then create a bigger lag coming down. Now my question always was, well, I've got to get back to that original angle I started with, so when do I put it back? And the answer I always got, well, that's practice and timing. Well, that's difficult to do. Some days you can do it, some days you can't. Tour players struggle on a day-to-day basis. And look how many balls they hit and how often they practice. So then I thought, well, if we start at this angle and we need to return at this angle, how about if we keep that angle the same all the way through and eliminate the hinge, because you don't need it. So let's take it out. Well, how much easier is it going to be to return to this angle if you never leave it? A lot easier. So now a golf swing is going to be made now so at the angle that you created address, we're going to maintain all the way throughout the swing. So now when we get to the top of the swing here, we're not going to let the wrist hinge to make that club go. We're going to allow the back arm, in this case my right arm, to fold, but we're going to keep that club from moving toward the fairway. We're going to keep that hinge at bay. We're not going to let it happen. And now that's going to enable us to keep the club in the same relative angle to the arms that it was at the beginning. That's going to enable you to keep that club face square. Now we all know what a square club face means. Some of you may not know what it means, but it's going to mean you're going to hit the ball straight. And if we combine that now with putting you in a good platform at address, and that platform is your posture, getting yourself set so that you've created the distance to the ball that you need, now when that golf club travels down and it comes into impact, this golf club is going to come down and it's going to level off, and it's going to swing level for a longer period of time. And if we can get that golf club to swing nice and level through that ball, we're going to hit it solid. Now, how many of you would like to hit it straight and solid? How much more fun would that be? If you can hit it straight and solid, it won't take you long to figure out where to aim. So that's a very important piece that we're going to be looking at. So we've got to get this golf club to behave properly. And for you out there, those masses that are struggling to play this game, we've got to be able to do it by taking that old hinge that's been taught for years and years, and let's not start it or try to increase it, let's leave it out. So when we take it in the backswing to here, and we're going to go up, we're going to leave that hinge alone. We're going to allow the arms now to swing this golf club. And it's important that we don't do that hinge, because if I keep the hinge out, the arms and the club come down together in the right direction all the time, and it's going to enable me to get that golf club back to square. I don't have to make any manipulations. I can simply swing my arms back down and I can contact that golf ball. If I have a hinge in there, now When I pull my arms down, the golf club's behind it. So now I'm going to have to make that up with my hands at the bottom. So now I've created a whole nother piece of timing that I've got to do to get the club face back to square. If I do it too soon, I close the face, it'll hook off to the left. If I do it too late, I'll lose the ball, leave the face open, it'll slice to the right. I don't want to have to deal with that extra piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the hinge out, and when I move my arms back down, the club comes back down the same as it was. I don't have to add another piece. I can simply swing my arms back down, and I've got the golf club coming in as square as it was when I started it. That's the reason I teach the way I teach. I took the hinge out because it's going to make it easier for you to hit better shots, straight shots, solid shots combined with that good platformer posture, and then simply swinging the golf club relative to the way it was set up. And what I mean by that is the golf club is set up at an angle to the ground. It's not vertical, it's got an angle. All we want to do is swing the golf club parallel to that all the way around on both sides. As long as you follow and swing that golf club on that angle parallel all the way around, that's going to give you that nice, straight, solid, repetitive shot time and time and time again. So again, answering that question, take the hinge out. You don't need it. I know they're going to tell you if you don't take the hinge, if you don't use the hinge, it's going to affect your distance. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Well, I should back up. It is going to affect your distance. You're most likely going to hit it further. And everyone I've encountered so far that I've taken the hinge out has struck the ball more solid and hit it further than they did before. So that old hinge, that you need that hinge to create lag, to create distance, you forget about that stuff. You don't need that. You just don't need it. And I know that I may be going against the grain here, but you've been struggling, right? Yeah, I know you've been struggling. So come on with us. Come on with Plain Simple Golf. Take that hinge out. Start enjoying this game. Hit the ball straight. Hit the ball solid. And have a lot more fun. All right? I'll see you next time.